Hello, hello. Here we are again with Broadcast Team Alpha coming to you on 44 different platforms around the world, 3 TV outlets, a bunch of radio, Roku, and a horde of social media. So you can find us just about anywhere. And we're going to do something today that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is to talk about herbal medicine. What kind of herbs will work for different things? And I think maybe, especially people listening to this show, is a little more aware of the how the medical system works than the average bear. So just listen real close because there are some good things in there, and it's pretty well censored, so we got to be a little careful with the language, but we'll try to get it out there for you. And yeah, my name is Aage, and I'm the host, and my co host, Nori, couldn't make it tonight, but she'll be back, so we'll just muddle through and make it on our own here this time. We are also transmitting on the Conscious Awakening Network. Go visit them at the consciousawakeningnetwork.org. They have a bunch of shows over there talking about all the stuff that we need to know about. And I also want to let you know how you can get a hold of me and how to get a hold of Nori. Just go to broadcastteamalpha.com, go into the contact feature and send us an email, and we'll get the email and we'll get back to you and see what we can help you with. And just for the fun of it, when you go to broadcastteamalpha.com, go into the picture gallery. There is 5,000 pictures in there that of things that should not exist, but it does. I know a lot of people have fun with that. So, oh gosh, I want to say a few things about our guest. We have the wizard, the wizard of wellness, and that's Glen Swartwout in Hawaii. He has been doing holistic medicine for 40 years, and he has come up with some remedies and some real solutions, not just treatment, but solutions. We can't use the other word there, so we'll just leave that one alone. So,
but you can cure yourself.
yeah,
That's legal. You
there
can
you
cure
go.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you do it, then it's good. And
Hmm.
he is an award-winning naturopathic optometrist. For 40 years, he has helped people reverse blindness. Now that's a new one. And about any other health challenge that you can think of that was irreversible according to the rumor on the street, which is enforced very heavily. And he works in alternative medicine entirely. He wrote a book, and you may want to go back and rerun this video so you can get the title of the book, so you can get it, because these two books are really worth looking at. One of them is Natural Eye Care, an encyclopedia, and another book is let's see, remedies and healing tools. And you can find that at remedymatch.com, and maybe also at regeneratevision.com. Maybe you want to correct me if I got that wrong. But so for this time, listen, take notes, because you're going to want to. This is going to be so good. And if you have no health problems right now, you're going to think for the future. And if you are 19 years old, 12 foot tall, and bulletproof, you don't care about health, but you have parents. Your parents want to hear
Hmm.
some of this. So, welcome to the show, Glenn.
Thank you, Aggie. Great to be back.
Yeah, this is going to be actually a learning experience for me because I've been studying natural health for a long time, but every time I deal with it, I learn something new, and I intend to
Me
learn
too.
something new from you today.
If we're not learning, we're not growing. So yeah.
Yeah, we're either going up or going down. There's no other
Yeah,
way.
yeah. To me, healing is spiritual growth. They're
Yeah,
two
it
sides of the
is.
same coin. If we
Because
have a challenge in life, let's say a health challenge, but any challenge, we have a choice. We can either try to avoid it and run away from it, or we can face it, take it on, find solutions, find what works, learn. I think we come to this life without a user's manual, and we have to start writing our own. So it's an experiential
somebody,
process.
yeah, somebody need to make a book like that. The
Yeah, it's on my list.
human owners manual. It's gotta come on like that. But
I'm
I,
working on it up here. I need to put it on paper.
okay, sounds good. I um, I want to ask your opinion on something that I think also is very important for a lot of people, and that is that I have been a health nut for as far back as I can remember, probably since I was that tall. But
Mhm.
right now, I've been taking so many supplements that it almost feels like a light lunch when I do. And I am wondering, I talked to a guy here about, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks ago, and he said you may be overdosing on some of those supplements. So some of these supplements the body create on its own. But if we supplement it, the body look around and say, wait a minute, we got all kinds of the stuff out there. I don't have to do anything, so the body shuts down. I want to hear your opinion, what you think about. Do you think that people actually can take too much of the good thing, so we
Yeah,
waste it?
here's a context. Even water, you can take too much. There's a lethal dose of water, an LD 50, where 50% of people will die if they drink a certain amount of water in a certain amount of time. It's very rare because the body's intelligent and you literally won't be able to bring the glass to your mouth if you're getting too much, unless uh, there's been cases where somebody took a party drug and they had it in their mind focused, I need water, I need to drink water, I need to drink water, and literally drowned because their lungs filled up with water because they drank too much. So there's a great learning lesson in that, that if we're not taking, a party drug, not having our mind way off course for some reason, if we can tune
Yeah.
our mind into our body and feel our body and not get stuck in just the mind outside the body, our body is way more intelligent than our thinking. Our rational thinking is limited. We can make mistakes easily. We can, use false assumptions, have false beliefs and ideas. And if we get stuck on those, we can go in the wrong direction long enough to get into trouble. But if we, on the other hand, that's kind of the left brain thinking, logic and reason, which our culture, emphasizes. We're trained to kind of stay there and, oh, okay, there's some creative people, maybe more of the people who are going to be listening, who are more right brain, more creative, more experiential, experimental, and will tend to shift and change and say, well, I'm going to try that and see how it works and see how I feel. Those feelings are have access to all kinds of information that the body is processing. The scientists who look at consciousness say the conscious mind, thinking, rational left brain, can process maybe 120 bits of information per second. Well, the
Mm.
the whole consciousness of our being is like millions of bits a second. But are we open to that? Are we tuning into our fullness of ourself, or are we just more in the linguistic language sort of digital world? We're all kind of living in more of a digital world these days. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
risk of forgetting we have this body and how intelligent it is. It's what knows how to heal. The mind,
Mm.
will go online and try to learn from somebody else. Hey, what works? What's the research? What's your experience? What do you think? and we'll get lots of different opinions. But ultimately, what we need is a way to tune into ourselves, into our deeper selves, and be able to ask ourselves the question, okay, that's an interesting idea. I can learn from that. Is it something I should try? Uh, we use things like muscle testing, where the strength of a muscle will change with an idea depending on the broader context, because the muscles are feeding that information through the whole body, not just through the left brain. And so you can use fingers like this, just two fingers, the middle finger and index finger, pressing and practice saying yes, no, and feel a difference in strength, strong, weak. Or my name is Glenn, my name is Ray, that's my partner's name. It's like a true statement, a false statement, and then say, okay, this supplement is good for me. Okay, this supplement is good for me. Oh no, okay. And if you're not surprised by some of the information, then you're probably just trying to project your mental thoughts into the muscles. And that we can do that. We can try to prove ourselves right, and then we don't learn. But it's a great practice. You can do it another way. If that doesn't work for you, you can just rub two fingers together, thumb and index finger, and it's either smooth or sticky. So it's like, yes, oh, it's smooth. Yes, no, oh, okay, it sticks. You can try that right now if you're listening and
Yeah.
just see if that works for you. Other people use a pendulum for dowsing, or dowsing rods, a traditional way of sensing. Yes, exactly. Sensing energy fields. The body is an energy field. What's the difference between a living body and a corpse? The energy field. You can't test for life and death with a blood test. The cholesterol level
Yeah.
doesn't change, but
Yeah.
the EKG of the heart, the EEG of the brain, every cell membrane has an energy field. That's a tremendous amount of electrical energy. So every meridian of the body that regulates the healing of the different organs and tissues, that sends energy to the places it's needed, they all connect to the eyes and the heart, the two most high energy tissues in the body. So we're an energy, we're an electrical being, we're an
Yeah.
electromagnetic being. And then the material body, the minerals and vitamins and chemistry, amino acids, hormones, those ultimately, if you look at a quantum level, they're just energy too. E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light. So it's all light. David Bohm, uh, physicist who worked with Einstein at Princeton and was his successor as a thinker in physics. My favorite quote from David Bohm is, "All matter is frozen light." So we're literally
Yeah.
light beings. And so we don't want to get stuck in a world that's only sound, the sound of our own voice, inner voice of thinking in terms of ideas and words. That's a good thing. It's a powerful tool, but it's a poor master. We want to be
Yeah.
aware of your whole self, your breath, your heart. The studies showed that actually the meaning that's generated from everything that we experience isn't generated in the brain. We're sort of brain centric as a culture. We think, oh, my brain this, my brain that, when we really mean my mind, my consciousness, my thoughts. When we see something, if it's something that's life threatening or stressful or arousing, that's going to stimulate a stress response or an autonomic response in the body, the response actually comes from the heart before the brain, and it comes before the light enters the eye. It happens in reverse time. So there's a perspective that I find extremely transformational, that the spirit, who you really are, comes from the future. Whereas it's the body, the biosuit that we're experiencing life through, that comes from the past. And the consciousness
Mm.
is centered in the relationship of the two in the present moment, but the mind has access to the future. We can envision the future. We can apply our will to how we want to navigate the future. And we have
Mhm.
memory of the past. We can have healing thoughts to heal our relationship with the past. So time, we think of time classically as an arrow coming from the past to the present moment, and the future doesn't exist yet. No. In reality, the future is more real than the past. It's multidimensional. It's where
Yep.
we have the ability to navigate and change and co-create that future. It's
Hmm.
two-dimensional compared to a one-dimensional timeline in the past. And I think beyond this universe that we're in right
Existence.
now, beyond this dimension, I think we'll experience three-dimensional time, where future and past are not separate, but all just like space is three-dimensional all at once. Imagine if our spirit being who we truly are in our frame of reference is in the future, but is three-dimensional. So it's here present to us now in a way like a guardian angel for us is our future self. And so we want to be open to that future self. And that's where things that we say are miracles, they come from the future, not from the past. It's a discontinuity with our past experience. There's healings, documented healings, where things happen instantaneously. Now, if we don't believe that can happen, we won't we won't
Yeah, we
find them,
will.
right? Seek and you'll find.
Yeah.
Just like
And
the medical texts say so many things are irreversible, can't be healed, there's no cure. But people I've worked with over 40 years who come to me and say, I know there has to be a way because I just know within myself, I have this infused knowledge that's so real that I know I can
yeah,
heal this. And those are the people who do heal it, and they're finding ways outside the thinking, outside the box of Western medicine and materialist thinking to
yeah,
energy and
absolutely.
consciousness. And that's
I
healing
s-
progresses from the consciousness to the energy to the matter.
yeah,
It's mind
I
over
see.
matter. So
I see you dove into quantum mechanics here, and for those of you listening out there, it sounded quite far out there, but quantum mechanics provides for all those things to be and be used, and we can gain from it. So look into that. And now you mentioned the pendulum. Uh, this is pretty simple to learn. Nori Love
yeah,
made this one for me probably about 5 years ago. And I kind of look goofy sometimes when I go to the grocery store and I go up to the potatoes and I do like this over them. People look at me like, gosh, look at him. But the thing about it is that it works.
yeah,
When my pendulum go rotate to the left, that's a no. Well, if it goes to the right, it's a yes. Back and forth, it
absolutely.
says either one will be fine. It's simple to learn. Maybe you even have a book on pendulum and dowsing that people can get because this is something everybody can do.
Yeah, and that's where the muscle testing, there's a Omura O-ring test, but that's two hands. So
Mhm.
I like this one with just two fingers. Your hand can be in your coat pocket and you can test in the grocery store and not look goofy. There's a friend, a medical doctor shared a method he uses. He doesn't want to, he can't look goofy in the hospital. He's got his white coat on, his hands in his pocket. And he said he uses a clothespin with a rubber band around it, and he can feel if he's strong or is weak. Uh,
Tension, yeah.
But even this way, you don't even need a goofy clothespin. Or I forgot my clothespin at home. I don't have my pendulum here. Oh, your body, you can amplify your body's innate signals
Yeah.
just by attending. If you just attend to your own thoughts, you'll learn. Attend to how your body feels. What are my emotional states in my body? How do my organs feel? Where do I
Mhm.
feel good or not good? Uh, so there's all this biofeedback that we can learn to tune into. Our body
Yeah.
is constantly responding to its environment. When we enter
Hmm.
a healing environment, imagine yourself going to your favorite place in nature, maybe a beach or a forest or in the sun or in the ocean. When your body feels that, senses that stimulus, that environment, the healing, the shift in the healing activities is instantaneous. It knows
Yeah.
where it is, it knows what the resources and the quantum energies are that are coming in, and it responds to that state. So
Hmm.
finding practicing ways to tune into that, to feel how your body is reacting to foods, to ideas of things that you know. If you know, you can think of your supplements and say, what about this supplement, that supplement? Should I take that today? Should I take that today? Am I taking too much? And it gets better and better with practice. Anything
Yeah.
like anything.
Yeah. To summarize what you said is that take the time to practice. Learn these methods with the pendulum, or now there's
Hmm.
another one that is used
Yep.
like this.
Yep.
I've done
Yep.
that one, and this one I'm not very good at, but the pendulum I'm fairly good at. And learn how to do this, and I tell you, you do yourself a big favor, because you can also use that on different supplements. Do
Yep.
I need this supplement? And then see what it says. And if it says no, maybe just take a day off before you
Yep.
go back and do it again.
Yeah, with many herbs, it's actually good to take a day off or take a week off periodically if you're using it long term. The body will adapt to that stimulus. If you're always having something in your field, it's like you get used to it. You don't feel it anymore. You're not responding to it anymore. And you take that break. It's like the power of fasting is to remove ourselves
Yeah.
from what we're constantly bombarded with. And now when we bring it back, we can feel what that does. Like how if people are allergic to foods, we do a fast where they avoid those foods for a week or more. And then they reintroduce them one at a time, wait a day in between because the reactions can be immediate or they can be delayed a day. And then you can really tell better what's happening. So it's being more of an observer, which is true science,
Yeah.
being a
Yeah.
scientist with your own being. We're each a little bit different. So we've been exposed to different things in the past. We have different genetics. Beyond that, our genetics is actively turned on or turned off by the thoughts and stimuli and things that we're exposed to. So it's
Yeah.
a dynamic thing where what's 100% healing right now that's going to help you get to the next level of healing is not something that you'll probably need for the rest of your life, but maybe for a month. I
Hmm.
find for a month or so is a good trial, and then set it aside, and then you can go back to it and see how it feels.
Now, I do have a question though, because you are an optometrist and look here, I
Hmm.
got glasses. Every other person over the age of 50 have glasses. What can we do in order to throw them away?
Well, it's a challenge because there's different things involved, but the aging aspect is the lens of the eye grows new layers each year. So it keeps getting denser and denser compacted in the center. So it's a unique tissue. It's the densest protein in the body. Kind of think of the cartilage in your joints. There's no blood supply. So to get nutrients in and get toxins out in the joints of the body, we need movement, right? It's like a sponge. It pumps out the fluid and then it draws in new fluid. So the lens of the eye changes, it pumps when we focus far and focus near. So at whatever age, that's a good start, is to not be stuck. Let's see, if I'm doing close work, desk work, reading, computer work, if I'm just staying in that visual space, not moving my eyes, not looking far and looking near, I'm not getting that pumping action in the lens and in the rest of the eye. So like glaucoma is a lack of movement of the eyes. There's several factors, but the
Yeah.
stress, which under stress, we tend to focus more centrally and be less aware of our periphery, less moving in space. That's less stressful than if I'm just looking right here, concentrating
Yeah.
on one thing. So movement is a big key, and the movement of circulation is crucial. We lose 40%, 30% of our circulation quality on average in 40 years of aging. So by the time we're 80, we've lost more than half of the circulation to our eyes, and almost everybody's had cataracts removed by then, which is that lens, that same lens that we're talking about, that's losing its flexibility with aging, why we need bifocals, and then eventually becoming the cells dying and becoming a cataract. Uh,
Yeah.
there's many layers to it. The heavy metals, for example, mercury is the most toxic, the most irritating, most symptomatic. It can cause any disease, just depending where it is in the body. It stays longest in the lens of the eye. So let's say I had some amalgam fillings when I was young, and then I became aware that, oh, that's a problem. I don't want mercury in my body. I took them out, but it's still storing up every time I have seafood, or I'm exposed to mercury vapor that we don't even see. We don't know it's there. But we can overcome that through cleansing. Glutathione is a key to that, to pulling mercury out. Uh, and we can support our body to make that with something called NAC, N-acetylcysteine. That's one thing they took off the market. You may have noticed the nutritional, they took off the market during the COVID time. It's back available now, but it's so
Yeah.
powerful for moving the lymph, cleansing the immune system, supporting glutathione production for cells to cleanse themselves. So it's a
Okay.
really good nutrient to be aware of. Um, there's so many
That's
things like that.
good.
MSM, another form of organic sulfur that's amazing for pain relief, methyl sulfonylmethane. Years ago, decades ago, we didn't even know it existed. And how they discovered it was in processing trees to make pulp for paper. In the pulp mill, the workers would have their hands in the wastewater that was actually high in this organic sulfur, MSM. Again, they didn't really know what it was, but when they'd take a vacation for a couple of weeks to visit relatives, they'd notice they're starting to feel pain in their joints. And when they came back to work, the pain went away. And they
Oh,
finally realized, oh, this waste that we're spraying on the dirt roads in the backwoods of Georgia to get rid of it. And then they noticed the deer would come and the animals would come and lap it up. They knew it was good. See, the body knows
they
what's good
know.
and what's not. So
Yeah.
now there's like 15 patents for different medical uses for MSM. Very inexpensive. You can, oh, they sell it for horses in the veterinary store. Very inexpensive, or you can get it online. And we
Yeah.
use that in a lot of our remedies as well.
Yeah, we need to exercise the eyes too. And then I remember reading something a long time ago. It's the 20-20-20 rule. He said, look at something 20 inches away and look at something 20 feet away. Go back 20 inches, 20 feet. If you do that for 20 minutes every day, it's not going to take long before your eyes go back to normal, so you don't need glasses, is what this optometrist, I think he was an optometrist, what he
Probably, yeah.
wrote. Well, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean that's a thought, a rule, left brain rule, which is can help us to remember to break the patterns that we're in, to get in,
Yeah,
be aware that we have a body, there's more space than where our thoughts are. So it's a guideline. Uh,
yeah,
it's yeah,
yeah,
the goal for me would be to apply that rule enough that we develop a different habit that's less focused, less central, less stressed, and zeroed in on that one goal. I'm trying to do this job, this work, and forgetting that I have a body and the world out there
yeah.
that I need as much as it needs me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I
There's
see
a
now
there's
that
a great eye exercise for stretching the eyes, and it looks awful, but I'll demonstrate. If you look up and grab onto the skin by the eye where you feel the edge of the bony orbit, and you're looking up and pulling down, and breathe into that and see if you can feel a wave of relaxation going into the muscles that are surrounding, six muscles around each eye, and allowing oxygen to get in there, allowing the muscles to relax, and do that in each direction, down to left, to the right, a full breath cycle or two breath cycles. For me, I can feel that relaxation penetrating. The eyes can be, we don't, if we're feeling something all the time, we stop feeling it. So if your eyes are stressed and strained and tight, the muscles are tight, and they're not allowing circulation and the breath to get into the eyes, which the retina needs more oxygen than any other tissue. It has the highest metabolism. So if we're blocking that, we don't even feel it. But if you
yeah,
break that cycle, with movement, with exercise, stretching, breath. It's
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
blinking is
absolutely.
another that's recommended. Blinking, palming, where you warm the eye, warm the hands, energize them, leaving the eyes open, and you'll see light, but it'll turn to black over a period of a minute or so. You'll see like
Mm-hmm.
lights that represent the stress, and breathing into that, relaxing. It's a
Yeah,
good way to
when you
break.
rub your hand, you develop static electricity in there, and then you put that electricity on your eyes, and that is very healing. That
Yes.
makes
And
that
and
makes
and the
sense.
warmth, the infrared is very, very healing.
Mm-hmm.
People who couples who sleep in the same bed live longer than people who don't share that infrared warmth. So
Yeah,
we're made for the natural world. We're made for the energies, the substances, the herbs, the
yeah,
nutrients that exist in nature.
yeah, absolutely. I see we're down at the bottom of the hour, so for those of you that joined us late, we are talking with Dr. Glen Swartwout, and he is an herbalist, and he also is an award-winning optometrist. He's been dealing with natural medicine for the last 40 years, helping people with remedies and how to get rid of things. And it's just instead of having a lifelong treatment, there is a big difference between those two. And would you tell us about your books? The two of them that I mentioned earlier, where can they get them? Because there is pearls in there.
Most of my books are available on Amazon, of course. You can also find them at our online store, where we also have the remedies. You can see what the ingredients are for different symptoms or conditions. So you can put in keywords in the search, and it'll show, maybe show a relevant book, a therapy, a remedy, an ingredient. So that's remedymatch.com. It's like the matchmaking site for
Uh-huh.
dating to find the perfect remedy. uh,
Yeah.
and you can use that to, if you find a remedy, it'll often have dozens of ingredients that are relevant to that particular issue. And then you can, if you're learning how to test, muscle test, you could go through those ingredients and say, which one is one if I want to just try a single remedy, which is sort of our Western thinking way. I want to find the one, or maybe find a remedy that you have on your shelf that's in there that's, oh yeah, I could try that. I have it right here. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we look at other cultures, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, other sort of deeper cultural traditions in herbal medicine, they tend to use combinations because they'll complement each other. What one remedy, what one herb for the heart will do, another herb for the heart maybe do some of that and something else. And so they give a broader range of effects, stimulating more healing pathways. And so you'll find that in Oriental medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, the most of the remedies that are sold on the market there, maybe 70% are combinations, traditional
Uh-huh.
combinations.
Yeah.
Whereas in Western, go on Amazon or something, and it's the other way around. In health food stores, 70% will be this nutrient or this herb. So, uh, looking to think more in terms of patterns, and like in Oriental medicine, you have a certain pattern of the whole person, not just that one symptom. So when you
Mm.
treat one symptom with one nutrient, you might hit it a bullseye, or you might miss, but you're not going to cover the whole need of the whole person, because why
Yeah.
do we have that symptom in the first place? It's not just because of that one thing. Why does an eye age? It's not doing it on its own. It's circulation, it's heavy metals, it's nutrition, it's metabolic energy from the mitochondria, it's oxygen in the circulation, which depends on the
Mm-hmm.
the pH being alkaline, not acid. So it's a whole integrated system, and I think that's where we're headed for future medicine, is more integrated systems. That's what I've tried to
Yeah.
produce with our
And, and
formulations.
energy medicine too. Let me ask you
Yeah.
this also. There's a lot of people out there that is worried about diabetes. If you got diabetes, what would you do?
I would test myself as I do when I need to, as I did every week and then every month when I was supposed to be dead in my 30s and supposed to be blind in my 40s. So to see what does my body need right now, not just what I think I should need from my knowledge, but what does my body actually respond to? What's a stress? Oh, this is bad for me. What's beneficial to me? That's a therapy. So, for example, in diabetes, I would want to check, for example, chromium. Chromium is, if we're low in chromium, we're way more at risk for diabetes. And our lifespan, our longevity is going to be 5 years less than if we build that chromium level up to normal. And it's the first mineral that's lost in refining foods. So I would go to whole foods, not refined
Mm.
foods, to get the chromium naturally, but also supplement it if I'm low. And chromium is also the only nutrient mineral, the only mineral our body needs that our kidneys cannot retain. They can't concentrate it from the urine. So we lose the
Mm.
chromium, we lose it from the food, we lose it at both ends. And so we really need the wholeness of the foods, not all the refined processed. If you have to read the ingredients panel, it's not a food anymore. Maybe be careful. But a lot of things are lost in that processing
Yeah.
that aren't even going to show on the panel. It's like it doesn't say anything about chromium. Yeah, but it's been refined, it's been processed, so that's the first thing that's lost.
You mentioned the chromium, and there goes for a lot of other minerals and trace minerals also. On another computer that crashed on me a while back, I have a Senate document. I think it was written in 1934, and they said that all farmland that is continuously grown on in the United States is totally depleted of minerals,
Yep.
so we need to take a supplement.
Right. And that's even before, the Green Revolution, NPK fertilizer, where you can grow food
Yeah.
to full size, sell it by the pound in the market, not by nutrition. And it's pulling magnesium out of the soil every year, and you're never adding magnesium to the soil. So the soils are depleted in magnesium and
Yeah.
all the other important minerals. Yeah, and that's where, how your food is grown, how it's raised, how it's grown, how it's processed, all so important. Even the consciousness that's put into it by the people who are handling it
Yeah.
makes a difference because there's the minerals, the alchemical minerals of the spirit body are the carrier of consciousness, and they're in foods, but they're lost in processing. We can't even really easily measure those. There are ways, but it's not easy. But we lose it with electromagnetic fields, which we're exposed to a quadrillion times more than we were 10 years ago. Uh, and we lose our ability to hold the spirit minerals when we're acidic, which comes from stress, it comes from drugs, it comes from refined foods. Uh, so there's so many challenges these days. You have to
Hmm.
become a generalist, a holistic thinking person, working with the intelligence of the whole body, not just our logical mind. Because, in medical training, we're not going to be trained even in the importance of nutrition, which is, on a logical basis. We know that's what the body's made of. We know it's important. Yet doctors aren't even trained in nutrition, or
Yeah.
certainly aren't trained in the importance of nutrition in healing. They're not even trained in healing. They're trained in managing symptoms with pharmaceuticals. So they're
Hmm.
trained in sales of pharmaceuticals. And when you fail at that, then you can do surgery.
But
Yeah, so
what
we
if
have to look for ourselves.
what if somebody have a toothache or they have a headache or a backache? What is maybe the that you can think of the best natural organic herbal pain reliever?
Well, I was going to reach for dental regen, which is the minerals to remineralize the teeth. That's what I reach for if I have dental pain. But
Uh,
other pains in the body, the number one to me is MSM, methyl sulfonyl methane. It's from trees, it's from wood, it's organic, it's from nature. Uh, And you need a pretty high dose. So, just getting the powder and putting a 3/4 of a teaspoon in a glass of water. The first time you take it, I'd take a little less because there can be some heavy metal detox. People will say,
Mhm.
I taste metal in that. Well, that's because it's coming out of your body. So if you're sensitive, especially, start with a low dose and build up a little bit. But you have pain relief typically in a few minutes. It's amazing how effective and how fast and how easy that is because it dissolves easily in water. It doesn't ta it tastes a little bit bitter. It's not horrible, but as you suggested, you could put it in juice or a smoothie, some other kind of drink, and cover that taste.
Yeah, yeah. What about Alzheimer's? It seems like there's an awful lot of people now, a lot more than before, that is starting to feel like maybe I have an onset of Alzheimer's. What would you suggest to do and for them? Because this is an epidemic.
Yeah, I was there 10, 15 years ago. I had early Alzheimer's signs, and I was not reading or writing anymore. I retired to the jungle here in Hawaii to put myself in nature. I was, for me, particularly, because the causes can be a little different for different people. For me, my history is heavy mercury toxicity. So I did chelation to pull mercury out of my brain. It triggered a download that triggered seizures, and I went through some intense healing, but I'm back with my mind working better than ever after getting the mercury out of my brain. So in general, the number one thing to look at is sugar regulation. So similar to diabetes, we call it diabetes type 3, Alzheimer's. And in my
Yeah.
field of the eye, it's related to the leading cause of what they say is irreversible blindness, macular degeneration, the deposits of fats and toxins in the retina, same type of deposits in the brain. So we have to get the pancreas, the liver, the kidneys, the circulation, digestion. We have to get the whole body healthy in order to process those toxins, digest them, mobilize them, move them out, clean out the toxic parts like the heavy metals, uh, in order to restore the health and function of the tissue. But it is possible. We'll use something like infrared, where like you can start by just going out in the sun early in the morning or towards sunset, get that infrared light without all the UV, and or a sauna, other infrared therapies, photobiomodulation, we call it. We'll use a helmet of infrared light that's strong enough to penetrate into the brain, and that energizes the mitochondria. It also energizes the water in the body, and that gives increased energy to the cells, which is what they need to process those toxins. Every toxin, every stress, every damage requires more nutrients, more phytonutrients, more of certain nutrients and certain herbs in order to heal that. So we're I say we're nature deficient because of our how we live, our culture, and then we become even more nature deficient when we impose stresses, strains,
Yeah.
toxins, trauma upon
Yeah.
ourselves. But
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
like archaeology when we want to heal what's from in the body from the past. We begin with what's happening now and what's recent, and then we dig into deeper and older layers, and we see people where we can see in the retina the deposits of fatty deposits underneath the retina are clearing, and the retinal specialists they go into shock. They say, I'm shocked to see this case of you had wet macular degeneration where there's bleeding, there's fluid, people are going blind rapidly, and now it's converted back to the earlier form, the dry form. They don't have to give injections in the eyeball every month, and the vision's coming
Um,
back, and the scar tissue is clearing, and fat deposits are going away, and vision is coming back. So
yeah.
so don't if you first of all don't believe everything you hear. Use that left brain to be skeptical. If medicine says this is irreversible, there's no treatment approved by the FDA, there's nothing I can do for you except to maybe slow it down with these injections or this drug to manage the
Yeah.
symptoms, make you feel better on the way out. I don't believe it. I've seen things healed that I I never would have thought were possible. A mitral
Yeah,
valve that was prolapsed for 30 years, and the Harvard heart doctor said, if I hadn't been your doctor who diagnosed it, I would have said you were misdiagnosed because that doesn't heal. That's what we learn. That's how we're trained to think. But that thinking
yeah,
limits our ability to see the possibilities and to find solutions.
yeah. And oh, I can't help it. It is a 45-second story that I got to tell you.
Yeah.
And that is that back in Norway, I had an uncle. He was a beekeeper.
Mm,
Since he was about 19 years old, last time I saw him, I think he was 94. He was running his home, driving his own car. He was doing everything like you and me do at 94. And
mm,
he uh, he never really used glasses that I could see it, but I found the picture where he actually used glasses for reading only.
hmm
Now that he had one small glass of honey every, well, pretty close to every day, he said, all his life. And he credited his alertness of the mind to that honey. But he got stung by bees quite a bit too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Beekeepers have the highest longevity of any profession. That's why I started uh, a beehive when I was 30. When I found out I'm going to be dead within 10 years, I better increase my longevity. Oh, beekeeping, good idea. Let's, at least learn how. The B vitamins are associated with the pollen, the propolis. Uh, you've got the royal jelly from the queen is an incredible healing property. And I'm sure the honey that he was having was raw honey, not cooked, not processed, not
Yeah,
pasteurized. Yeah, it not only has more of the conventional chemistry nutrients, which are huge, it's hugely important, but it also has the spirit still. Again, when we
yeah,
process things, we kill it. We kill the spirit of it, and we've been trained to think in our left brain, so spirit, that's like energy, spirit. Oh, we don't really know if that's real. Oh, guess what? It's the reality that governs this reality that we can measure and touch. We just can't measure and touch it with material instruments, not easily. So, yeah, we got to grow spiritually to see how big we are. Our
yeah,
your spirit is as big as what you see. Our vision, when we see the stars, we're seeing an image that our spirit, our being has created, and therefore we are taking up that space. Now, in our mind, if we think we're small, I'm just limited to the material physical body. I'm making myself smaller than I am. Our mind, this is like the work you do with healing. We put our minds together and we can heal things at it. It doesn't matter the distance. You can
yeah.
transcend time and space with the mind. So we're powerful
Hmm.
beings. We're restricting ourselves. We can take those restrictors off and like little children, like toddlers, begin to learn how to walk, begin to learn how to play
Yeah,
with good intentions.
yeah,
And we can learn
absolutely.
from each other. But like you said at the beginning, I'm 40 years, I'm still fascinated by all this because I'm still learning every time I work with someone, I'm learning from them and happy. I'm excited to share, as you can tell, I'm excited to share what I've learned. And I'm excited to see what other people are learning and what they can create in healing themselves because I can't heal anyone as much as they can heal themselves. I'm a
Yeah,
guide to their healing. I'm an assistant, but they're in the driver's seat. So healing medicine really should be about the patient, not about the doctor, not about the drug, not about the regulatory agency, the corporation, the money system, the insurance company. But that's why I gave up my license 20 years ago. It's like I don't like having all these artificial entities in the room. It's me and a person. How can I serve you?
yeah, yeah. Because they want to control what you do, and it's usually the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
there is one issue that is very sensitive, and I'm gonna be diplomatic on this one. There was something that we were But at least they tried to make us do it 4 years ago.
Yep.
This thing that people got, at least the dumb ones and the weak ones, they went for it right away. And of course, I never did, but we got something. There was a self-replicating protein that was attached. What can we do to get rid of that if it got in our body? And now you mentioned that you had worked something out, and I want you to talk as diplomatic as you can on this, and then
Yep.
let people know where they can get a hold of you through email or something, where they
Yep.
can talk to you about this, because this is on people's mind almost every day for the awake ones.
So the simplest way, if you go to our online store, I've got over 80 websites, so I can point you, once we talk, I
Oh,
can point you to specific things. But on the store, it's called remedymatch.com, remedymatch.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a little magnifying glass icon. You click on it, opens up a little window, and you can type in a keyword. So whatever keyword you want to associate with that is probably going to be there. And it'll come up with solutions, remedies, books, whatever's relevant to that keyword. And one of the first things will be a remedy. There's a remedy called Spike Shield. And if you click on that image of Spike Shield, it'll then show you information about it. It'll list a couple dozen of ingredients that from my research we found, doctors there's not a lot of, in the medical literature, but in the alternative medicine in this case, what these doctors are doing their own research are finding, well, this helps, these enzymes, these nutrients, these herbs. So I put them all together into one formulation. So
mhm.
again, it covers different healing pathways, things to dissolve that protein, things to modulate and balance the immune system, etc. And so that's a good start. Again, you can use that as a guide. Oh, those are all ingredients that people found to help. Oh, I have maybe two or three of those in my kitchen cabinet and in my pharmacy shelf. So I can
Yeah,
go ahead and start trying those. And if I want to try the full formula, that's there. At the bottom of each page, there's also a form that you can apply to consult. So there's no cost for the application. We can see what you need and what kind of help and how we can best help you with your needs, your budget, and get you the best help that we can.
that sounds wonderful. Now, it's people like you that help to keep people like me and the people who are listening here on the right track and alive when we know from the AMA's own website and other government websites, they admit that what they are promoting is not working. They
Yeah,
know that.
the data is so clear. There's no way to fudge it. That the health in America is way worse than any other
Yeah.
advanced country, so-called advanced country. We spend a lot more on healthcare, so-called healthcare. We spend a lot more on drugs, and as a consequence of doing more of the wrong things that are suppressing our body's attempts to heal, because a symptom, even a disease, we can really better understand as an expression of our body's best attempts to heal itself, given the resources at hand. And we can pretty much guarantee through rational thinking, if we think about it in a big way, that we're not deficient in a drug that never existed until it was patented. We're deficient in something from nature, whether it's a material from, from an herb, a plant, the soil, uh, or deficient in some kind of energy, like from the sun or from the earth or from the air, or we're deficient in some kind of meaning, some kind of thinking, information. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Think of it this way: the United States is spending more on medicine than the rest of the world combined. And
yeah,
I remember reading a study that was probably, I think it was done back in the early 90s or something like that. The UN did a study on which country was the absolute worst when it came to child mortality. And they ran pretty much all countries. Which one do you think was the one that had the least amount of child mortality? Well, I don't know if you read that or not, but I'll tell you there was Cuba.
Ah,
Cuba is too broke. They can't buy
right. Yeah.
pharmaceuticals. They use natural medicine, they use
Yeah. Yeah.
home birth, and they are some of the healthiest people.
Yeah.
That's a
It,
fact.
it's like with Alzheimer's and AMD blindness. It doesn't exist in places where there is no airplane, boat, or train to bring in processed food. Then they subsist on nature. We're nature deficient. Might as well,
Yeah.
realize it and get more nature in your life.
Boy, oh boy, we are living a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people have no clue how deep the lie goes.
But it's
It goes,
profitable.
oh yeah, it's lots of money in lies. They're really good at that. But then again, I know I've been caught giving the medical system a bad rap, and I really shouldn't as much as I do, because they have their place. They do wonderful things. When it comes to emergency medicine, they can do miracles. Now, if
Yeah.
I break my
Trauma.
leg, I'm gonna go see a doctor. The herbalist can go jump in the lake. I'm not gonna deal with an herbalist when it comes if I break my leg. But the thing is that what we are being led down the primrose path to believe is not true. But there is good things in allopathic medicine, and we should take advantage of the good part,
Absolutely. Yep.
educate
Like
ourselves.
all of the sciences that we learn as the foundation for medicine, there's so much value there. And that's why I
Right.
say we're just deficient. We need to bring back the peripheral awareness of spirit, of the nature of life and consciousness is missing, is the thing that's missing. We bring it back into context, and now we can understand all those details. Wonderful. And realize that all those details of the chemistry of the body, all the pathways, they're they're interacting feedback loops that are self-healing, self creating. The body grows itself. It knows how to heal itself. So we just have to open our minds to be able to listen, to not just pick out a piece and measure it and say, okay, we measured 3, 4, 5, 10 pieces of this body machine that has 10,000 pieces, and
Yeah.
and then extrapolate and think, no, I know what's happening. This thing's too high. I know this toxin will lower it. A cholesterol lowering drug that stops the liver from making cholesterol, and we buy into that thinking to where we forget that cholesterol is needed to make a cell. Cholesterol is needed to make a hormone. Cholesterol is
Yeah.
needed to protect cells from toxins. So the liver has a reason. We need to look deeper and see the reason for the imbalance rather than just treating the surface.
Yeah. I see we are getting down to the about the end here. I'm going to ask you one question last. If you could talk to the whole world and the world is listening, what would you tell them?
You are a spiritual being having a human experience in a bio body suit. It didn't come with a user's manual. And so it's up to you to find the chapters that go in that, to write them yourself, to share them with others that might be useful to them. We're all unique in a way, and yet there's a certain similarity to being human, being alive, uh, and realize you're a cell in a living universe. The universe is God's body. We're a cell, like the microbiome in our gut. We're like microbiome in God's body. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're
And
part of something greater.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, because it's our responsibility to stay healthy. It's not the doctor's responsibility to keep us healthy.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then that I got one last message too, and that is that when you're walking through a minefield, follow somebody with bigger shoes than you have.
Mhm.
With other words, don't poke in the dark. Find people. When it comes to health, find a naturopathic doctor. Got a hold of Glen here, Glen Swartwout, and follow and listen and learn. Watch their videos, read their books, and you was going to make it through that minefield too, because the healthcare system is a minefield. That's my message, and I'm sticking to it. So thank
Yep.
you very much, Glenn, for being with us.
Always a
It
pleasure.
was good.
Yep.
Thank you very
There's
much.
there's always more, but we look forward to learning what you learn out there.
Yeah,
Together we'll figure this out. You know,
yeah,
together we can make the world a better place.
yes, we can. And mention your website one more time so people can go and get a hold of you. They can,
Remedymatch.com.
there you go.
Remedymatch.com. I look
Okay,
forward to having a conversation with you if this is interesting.
thank you. All right, then if you are watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. That'll help us a lot. We got all kinds of good things coming later on, so click the bell and you will get notified. And I guess until next time, be good to each other.
Mhm. Indeed.
Well, Mark, we're done.
Well, that was good.
Yep. Well, I'll just go ahead and exit, and we can
Yep.
both do that, and then Mark will have the show, and it will go out.
Beautiful.
Yep. Take care.
You too. Bye, Aage.
Bye.